And we know from experience, and I know from personal experience, that this has changed my life and the lives of, I don't know how many people I've spoken to over the past 6 years, thousands. It's amazing. And, you know, Miriam, you said there was one woman that I talked to, she's had Lyme for 60 years. When she started using, she's been using our protocol for 2 years, and she sent an email. She said this has been for her like a miracle. So be patient with yourself.
Welcome back to Bioenergetics Beat. I'm Miriam, part of the fantastic team here at We Are NIKKI. In today's episode, I'm excited to dive into some of the most common questions we get, or as I like to call them, frequency asked questions. Whether you are new to the world of frequencies or a longtime listener, this episode is packed with insights. Today's episode is brought to you by NIKKI, your personal wearable wellness technology. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to stay with us until the end for an exciting giveaway and to learn how you can submit your own questions for future episodes. Some parts of this episode were recorded earlier, but as we were in production, we received many more questions from our community that we wanted to include. With that in mind, I'm thrilled to welcome back Nicole Sullivan, president of We Are NIKKI, and Janis Klipper, our incredible customer service leader. Welcome back, Nicole and Janis.
Thanks, Miriam. Thanks, Janis.
All right. I'm so excited to have you guys back. I know we get a lot of questions for our customer service team, and as well as a lot of questions in general. So I wanted to bring the two of you back with us to kind of address some of those most asked questions that we have gotten. So NIKKI, what is frequency therapy and how does it work?
That is a question that we get often, as you know. So frequency therapy uses specific vibrational frequencies to influence the body's energetic field. I know that sounds like a lot of jumbo, but we all have an energetic field around our bodies. We are energetic beings. So much like tuning a musical instrument, the goal is to restore balance where there's dissonance. The frequencies target everything from boosting your immune system to emotional balance, tapping into the body's natural healing mechanisms. And devices like NIKKI use a suite of frequencies tailored to individual needs, whether it's for detoxification, stress reduction, or boosting vitality. So when we're talking about NIKKI and we're talking about frequency therapy, it's not that NIKKI is a therapeutic device. It is a device that happens to be wellness technology that's communicating with your body.
Perfect. How can I, so we get this question a lot. How can I integrate NIKKI into my daily routine?
Super great question, Miriam. Integrating NIKKI is easy. Right here. Most users simply just wear it as they go about their day during specific times like meditation, exercise, or sleep. The frequencies are delivered consistently throughout your day. So when you have NIKKI on and you are playing a frequency set, you are making a seamless addition to your routine. We have frequency sets that are tailored for different needs, whether it's general wellness, or you're looking for detox, or some of our more specialized needs like Lyme recovery and co-infections.
Awesome. We get this a lot. And I know Janis is going to agree with me. I know, NIKKI, you have get this question a lot, several times a week. And that's why I thought we need to add this question because it is probably our number one question. Is there scientific backing for bioenergetics and frequencies?
Absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. There's growing support for the use of frequencies in healing. Most people are familiar with red light therapy and other kinds of mats and things like that that introduce red lights to mitochondrial function to support that. But if you look at research like Dr. Stephen Schwartz, he's explored how sound and light and vibrational therapy can support immune function and combat chronic illnesses. The science behind frequency healing revolves around the biofield, which is an energetic matrix that surrounds and permeates the body. As I said before, we are energetic beings. We are made up of energy. And when this biofield is disrupted, either by stress or illness, frequency therapy helps bring it back into harmony. So you can see more information from our past events with doctors like Dr. John Armorall, Dr. Christine Schaffner, where they each talk about the bioterrain, which is also part of that That's just another word for the energetic matrix or biofield around us. And if you're interested in looking at any of the past events, you can see also Dr. Stephen Schwartz.
Yeah, Stephen Schwartz is actually on. We did an amazing episode with him with our regular host, Heather Gray, on episode 16 of Bioenergetics Beat. He shares some incredible insights, and it's definitely not one to miss, especially if you're looking at trying this technology for yourself or currently use this technology yourself. So thank you so much for answering that question. Again, I know sometimes that is actually a hard question to answer because we do work in that field of, seeing is believing almost is what lights are going to help me how. And so that is, like I said, that is one of our most asked questions that we get several times a week. Am I right there, Miss Janis?
Absolutely, you're right.
Now we have a video that you can send people and they can watch our episode.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Back to NIKKI again. Now, what are the benefits of using NIKKI's frequency sets?
Well, NIKKI offers a variety of benefits. Depending on the frequency set that you choose, we have programs that assist with immune support, detoxification, emotional wellness, and even Lyme disease recovery. So the key to NIKKI is that it's a non-invasive delivery of frequencies, which you can wear while going about your day. Whether it's recovering from illness or you're just looking to optimize your wellness, there is a frequency set that can benefit you. We have energy, we have pain and inflammation. That's one of my most famous. And to me, it's famous. Why? Because I wear it every day. Without pain, I cannot function. And I know that there are other people that are in the same boat. And I know there are other, like students, for instance, who often use stress and anxiety so that they can cope and continue to do their schooling or when they're taking a test, etc. So NIKKI is a play it your way device and is tailored to your needs with the frequency suites that you access.
Yes, I was in a class a couple weeks ago, and 3 of the people in the class have their NIKKIs, and we were all concentrating. And then all of a sudden, I hear this little voice from the class is like, "Oh, I gotta put my stress and anxiety on," and she literally just had her NIKKI, put the stress and anxiety on, and then was able to deal with the complicated section of the class that we were dealing with. So that was really interesting to see. And I know Janis often, when we're around in the office, she's like, "Miriam, do you got your stress on?" And then that's my hint to be like, "Oh, I better put my stress and anxiety on." So with that, what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick little break, and we're going to be right back to talk to Janis about customer service.
There's a new word for wellness, NIKKI. NIKKI, the bioenergetic wearable designed to help you feel better and perform better. Other wearables just track how you're doing. NIKKI is about helping you do better. Touch the NIKKI screen to choose the frequency you want for what you want to do and how you want to feel. NIKKI puts a personal wellness center in your hands and on your wrist. Be better. Do better. We are NIKKI.com.
I have struggled with sleep for a while, so I do know that it affects everything, but having insomnia, that's something that I would never wish upon anyone. Like, until you don't realize how important sleep is until you lose it. And when you lose it, you really, really realize how much it affects everything. It affects everything within the next day. And then a few days after that, it just like, it creates this vicious cycle that you can't get out of. And so that was huge for me. And that was one of my biggest priorities of 2022 is trying to get my sleep back on track and at least just sleeping for a few hours every single night or not waking up every hour on the hour. And the very first day that I wore the device, I slept through the night, which is amazing.
NIKKI puts a personal wellness center in your hands and on your wrist. Be better. Do better. We are NIKKI.com.
Welcome back, everybody. Today we are talking to Nicole Sullivan, president here at We Are NIKKI, and Janis Klipper, our customer service lead. So NIKKI, I'm going to throw this question to you. Do I have to wear my NIKKI every day?
I would, and here's why. Our cells are constantly in motion and our body is continually renewing itself. NIKKI is a source of information for those cells. So as your cells renew, they need the information now and now and now and now. They need the information again. So to have the continual information without disruption is, I feel, preferred. In terms of communicating with my body, I need to know that. Now, some of the frequency sets kind of set things in motion, so to speak, when I would be saying with like the Lyme suite, for instance, it's giving the body information and then the body goes, hey, I know what to do with this, and starts to set the immune system into doing what it needs to do to deal with the Lyme. When it comes to something like allergies or pain, you might have a more quick reaction and it might not necessarily be as lasting. So for me, I need to wear pain every day. Again, I have chronic pain conditions, and without my NIKKI, it's too difficult for me to function. So I give my cells that continual information, and now, and now, and now, and now, as I say, in terms of, again, the body's made to renew itself. So we need to constantly give it the information that it needs to survive and succeed.
I was talking to a customer and last week while Janis was on vacation. And one of the things when I was talking to the customer, she was having a hard time understanding what NIKKI does. And I just said, think of your body as a house. NIKKI's going to give your cells the blueprint to finish building that house. It's giving the blueprints, and it's giving your cells the information it needs so they know what they need to do. And then she's like, oh, now I get it. And it's because it is hard to describe, which actually brings us to our next question. So customers that just received their NIKKIs, how long do they wear their frequencies for?
We talk about minimum of 2 hours because it takes time for the body to receive that information and respond to the information in the frequencies. So in the wellness and in the Lyme frequencies, they have a set time. So for example, gut health in the Lyme suite is 8 hours. So it doesn't mean that you need to wear that for 8 hours. If you want to switch to a different frequency, as we said, minimum of 2 hours so that your body responds to that specific information.
Can they wear it too much, and will it do them harm, Janis?
I had this question last week. I get it actually quite often. And as Nicole does, and I'm sure you do, I wear my NIKKI from the moment I get up, all day at work, all night, and I charge it in the morning. So we were talking about that, and I answered one of our clients. I said, you know how you eat nutritious food every day? Your body needs good water. You may take supplements for your body. I said, the information from the frequencies are good information. It's good for your body, and you can't wear it too much because it's information only. It can do no harm whatsoever.
Thanks so much, Janis. Now, one of the things you mentioned is you start to wear your NIKKI from the morning you wake up. Can you walk us through all the programs you wear in a day?
Absolutely. Okay. So I start with Lyme daily. That runs for 2 hours. And then it depends if I'm driving to work and there's pollen in the air and I get to work and my eyes are red and itchy and runny, I will put on histamine right away and run that for a couple of hours until my eyes aren't running anymore. If I find it's a stressful day at work, I may switch over to stress and anxiety or the emotion. They're both amazing. I'm very fortunate that I don't have a lot of pain. However, the occasional time that I feel like I might be getting a headache and I choose the pain frequency, within 20 minutes, I do not need to take an ibuprofen and the headache doesn't manifest, which is great. I may run the energy. If you have that kind of 3 o'clock slump, I'll put the energy on. And I find I need to turn that off when I get home because I've overworn that one and I have trouble falling asleep. So the energy one really works. So then in the evening, 2 hours before bed, the one that really works for me is Lyme sleep. And you start at 2 hours before bed so that in that time, your body is already responding to the information in those frequencies, all of it does to get your body ready so that when you tuck in, your body's already in that responding to the sleep. And honestly, I tell everybody this, So I get in bed, I tuck in, and I'll just turn over for a second just to get comfortable and fluff my pillow. The next thing I know, I am waking up at 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning with my bedside light still on, and I've fallen asleep. Sometimes I'm still in the clothes that I change in when I come home from work. I mean, I am out like a light. So then I turn the light off, go to sleep, and then I wake up in the morning and I put it on the charger for 20 minutes when I'm getting ready for work, and I start my day again. I also incorporate gut health now that we have that in the Lyme suite, because that we understand more and more about that. That is such an important part of our overall health. So I do incorporate that one as well. So a variety. And you kind of check in with yourself, like, what do I feel that I need right now?
Janice, I think that
Yeah.
is such an awesome answer, and I so appreciate you walking us through. What I want to do, though, is I want to add on to that. What I want to talk about and is let people know that Janice is not what we call frequency hopping. She's
Right.
using select frequencies that she has become accustomed to over her months and months and months of use of NIKKI. If
Mhm.
Janice were just starting out, we would suggest that she just start with Lyme daily and then perhaps move into stress and anxiety and leave it there. And until she'd done that for a few weeks so that she can get acclimated to what the frequencies are doing for her body. But since Janice has been using the device for months and months and months, she is accustomed to the different packages that she's wearing throughout the day.
That's a really good point, Nikki.
Is a lot of people I find with NIKKI, it's so exciting. You get your Lyme suite and you have 10 different frequencies to choose from. And you've been suffering from Lyme for so long, some 30, 40, 50 years, and you just want to address it all. And that's when I find, Janis, you're talking to people where they're having some type of reaction. Can you explain a little bit about some of the situations where customers have just got their Lyme NIKKI or their NIKKI with the Lyme frequency suites, and basically how they have frequency hopped and how you help them with that?
Thank you, Miriam. So when you get your Lyme suite, the one that go to every day is the Lyme Daily, and that's a progressive Lyme program. And what we mean by that is we are introducing frequencies for detox, Lyme Complete, which is very comprehensive, and that includes frequencies for Lyme and co-infections and the viruses and bacteria, mold, fungus, parasites that people with Lyme disease are prone to, and also an hour of stress and anxiety. So day one, you start with a minute of detox and a minute of the Lyme Complete and an hour of stress and anxiety. And each day it automatically increases the detox and the Lyme Complete by 1 minute over a period of 30 days. So that when you get to day 30, you're running the full duration of that Lyme Daily, and you continue with that. So you're getting 30 minutes of detox, 30 minutes of Lyme Complete, and an hour of stress and anxiety. So it's a 2-hour run full on. And I want to let you know also, some people, because we've got those 10 suites, they'll tap on the detox and play that. And then they'll tap on the viruses and play that. And then they'll tap on the mold and play that. And then they'll do the detox plus the Lyme Daily. And they're being inundated with all those frequencies that have a very specific purpose to go after the Lyme, after the co-infections and the viruses and bacteria. And that is too much for them. And you can have a Herxheimer reaction, too much detox, and that can make you very uncomfortable. So when people get the NIKKI with the Lyme suite, your go-to is Lyme Daily. You tap on that word from your frequency menu and it provides all those frequencies. And I also suggest that people don't need to tap on the bacteria or the one that's called mold or the other one that's called detox until they've run Lyme Daily for, I always tell them, 2 or 3 months, where they've been running the full-on duration of that program, if they need to really target in on some things, some specifics. How does that help?
That makes sense. So
Mhm.
one of the things, I was talking to a customer the other day and they reached 15 minutes and started to have, basically they were having some Herxheimer reactions. And so can you walk me through how somebody on Lyme Daily could restart back at the 1 minute to do the reintroduction into the program again?
Mhm. And that's okay. I just want to say that some people feel like, oh my gosh, I'm being left behind or I'm not progressing. And I just want to say, first and foremost, everybody has different sensitivities and can tolerate things in different levels. Even they're going to know from their previous Lyme protocols, some are super sensitive to herbs or anything that their doctors or practitioners are putting them on. So it's okay if you need to start again. So what you do is you slide your screen over, past the frequency menu over to settings, and you scroll down to about, and you go down to, it says factory reset. You tap on the factory reset. And then after that, you put your device on the charger, plugged into a power socket, open up the NIKKI Connect app and connect again, and it's going to restart and recalibrate the Lyme daily program. So you're starting from day one again. So a minute of detox, a minute of Lyme complete, and the hour of stress and anxiety. And if you need to do that several times, it's okay. I just want you to know it's all right. You do this at your own pace. And that is, it's good. It's whatever is best for you. And we know from experience, and I know from personal experience, that this has changed my life and the lives of, I don't know how many people I've spoken to over the past 6 years, thousands. It's amazing. And, you know, Miriam, you said there was one woman that I talked to, she's had Lyme for 60 years. When she started using, she's been using our protocol for 2 years, and she sent an email. She said this has been for her like a miracle. So be patient with yourself and don't try and rush ahead, because Lyme is complex and there's many factors, you know, affecting when our immune system is going, okay, I'm taking all this information and I'm going to go after. And I look at our immune system like an army. And when sickness and illness and our cells aren't communicating well, like our immune system's going the white flag, like, okay, I surrender. I can't do this anymore. And when it picks up information, it will have what it needs to do, what it needs to do.
Thank you so much, Janis. I loved your answer. Lyme is so complex. And what I love about NIKKI is a program may run for 8 hours, doesn't mean you have to wear it for 8 hours. And it goes back to what you mentioned, where you really need to listen to your body, listen to what it's saying, listen to how it's receiving the information. And one of my favorite features is the fact that if you factory restore your NIKKI, you do start back at the 1 minute, 1 minute. And I know people that have had Lyme and they've been fighting it for 60 years, 30 years, 20 years, and it has significant impacts on their life. But you know, you can put the control back in your hands. I've worked with this company for 4 years. Janis, me and you talk about this all the time. I've been here 4 years. I am maxed out at the 15 minutes, and it's taken me a long time to get to the 15 minutes. And that Lyme program is a lifesaver to me. But you know, once I start getting to that 15 minutes, it's like, you know what, I'm going to start back out day one and work my way up. And then maybe in a month, I'll make it up to 16 minutes. It just takes so much time to unravel something that has taken a hold of your body for so long. And so we would love, you know, if everyone had their NIKKI, they felt better in a week. You always say, Janis, my favorite word that you use is it takes time to unravel the Lyme. It takes time to give your body the information for your immune system to know what your body needs to do with that information. And sometimes it will be like, you know, we'll talk to so many people and they felt really good for 45 days. And then they're like, oh, I'm just feeling not so great. And I know you're always, here's how to do a factory reset. Let's start back at 1. And then they just having that ability to restart when you want to is so significant. And it's, people can't control the Lyme in their body, but they can control how they're going to send their body the information to help with the Lyme. And being able to restart your program back at day 1 really gives them that power back into their hands. You're choosing when you want to run your programs. You're choosing how long you want to run them for. And then, Janis, can people wear, for example, Lyme, as they're working through the Lyme program, day 1, the Lyme detox will run for 1 minute, the Lyme complete will run for 1 minute, and then they'll get the stress and anxiety for 60 minutes. After they've run it on day 1, can they run it again, or do they have to wait till the next day?
Well, we suggest not running it again. They can, and it will still keep at the 1 minute detox, 1 minute Lyme complete, 1 hour stress and anxiety. So the way that we've set it up is once you finish that first day and it shuts off on stress and anxiety, whatever time that shuts off at, 16 hours later is when it's going to automatically add the extra minute to the detox and the extra minute to the Lyme Complete. And that's helpful because if you've got more than one person in your household that wants to share that device and use the Lyme program and the Lyme Daily, one person could use it, the other person can use it, and then the next day, as I said, 16 hours later, it's going to add the extra minute. So you're going to be in sync sharing that together.
Awesome. Can I become over dependent on my NIKKI?
Good question. I had this question this week. And so I'm just going to give a little background. It was one of our amazing, they're all amazing, excuse me. He had been out to the lake twice this summer and forgotten his NIKKI. And he was like, oh my gosh, like he got a little bit panicky. And then when he came back and he had it and put it on, he said, I mean, I am really relying on it. Is it okay? Like I'm feeling panicked. And I said to him, like I had said earlier, like every day you need nutritious food, you need good, healthy water. You work out at the gym, you do things for your body that are helpful every day. You don't stop. And I said, it's like the frequencies, you're putting good information into your body. And we're bombarded every day with, 5G and pollution and all kinds of things like information that we're getting over the news, etc. And it's good to put this good information into you. You can't overuse it. So he said, well, I guess the thing is not to be panicked because that's not a good thing, but just know that this is a good thing for me it's okay to rely on it because it is helpful. And if it's helping you, it's good for your overall everything, well-being, your mental state, everything. So to answer that in a word, no.
We've been wearing our company's technology. Well, I've been here 4 years. You've been in 6. I think Nikki's been close to 6 as well. You don't become reliant on it, but it becomes a tool that you use every day. And so I did a road trip and I had my charger packed. And what happened is I was driving, I had to drive for 3 hours and my NIKKI, I was playing around with it and it did a hard shutdown, which is rare. But sometimes if you're playing around with your NIKKI too much, it'll do a hard shutdown. And then you just put it on the charger, wakes it back up. And what happened was I didn't want to like empty the trunk out of the car to get my charger. So I'm like, I'll be fine without my NIKKI. And then of course you're driving and your anxiety is kind of like ramping up. You're driving in a new city, you don't know it. There's that familiarity that you're used to is gone. And then, by the time I got my charger, put my NIKKI on, put the stress and anxiety, I felt my system calm down. And I actually, with NIKKI, I forgot how much stress I would carry because you didn't have a way to like relieve the stress or deal with the stress. And so I often tell people when I start to feel anxious, I'm like, what is happening? And then I look and my program has ran its 8 hours for stress and anxiety. And then I got to turn it back on, or when it has the hard shutdown. And so I think it's not becoming dependent. It's just, we have dealt with stress and allergies and pain for so long that you don't know, you're just used to your body feeling that way. But then when you have the NIKKI to help with those tools, you forgot how good you could feel. So I think it's not dependent. It's helping, but you're not taking a pill. And, we have a customer who is new to NIKKI and she, for her whole life, has taken allergy medications. And I was like, you need to try a NIKKI. And allergies, if you're ever going to try a NIKKI and see, like, everyone wants that wow factor. For me, allergies is usually the one that does that because I'll be in a class and somebody's dealing with allergies. I will put my NIKKI on them. And 20 minutes later, I'll be like, hey, how are your allergies? And they'll realize their allergies are gone. They're not having to run for Kleenex. Their eyes are not watery. And so my friend who is wearing it for her allergies, again, the other day, it turned off and she was like, I got to get home. I got to get my charger. I got to get my NIKKI. And she just had this panic because she got used to not having to be reliant on her antihistamine medications because NIKKI helps her in that. And then she was like, it's like the gentleman at the lake. She's like, I need another one. I don't want to think about being without the device because it becomes such an important tool in her everyday. And she loves like her allergy medicine. She can't drive her car. It's so strong. She loves being able to drive her car. She loves not having to plan her day about like, if I take my medicine at this time, I can't leave at this time, or I need to be home by this time. And so that now I finally convinced her, I'm like, you need to put a charger in your car so you're not panicked when your battery's about to die and you're out and about. Because like we were in a class, she left early because she's like, I got one bar on my NIKKI, I need to go, because she didn't want the allergies to kick in and not have medicine or whatever. And so yes, I had to give her a charger. So it's funny how like long we go with just dealing with stress and anxiety and not realizing that there is actually solutions out there. And we've just like, we just assume that's how we're supposed to feel essentially.
The frequencies, it's not like a pharmaceutical. There's no side effects. That's what I want to say, because it's information only. There's no side effects when I'm talking about the wellness frequencies. And the only thing with the Lyme and the viruses and bacteria, the mold and the detox, you can become uncomfortable from the information from those frequencies, from what's, how your body's responding to it. However, with all the other it's information and no side effects whatsoever.
It has become our new norm. Like when something happens, it becomes our new norm, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. If you have allergies and here they come again, my eyes are going to water and my nose is going to be raw and I'm going to be blowing it all the time. And I know people that sneeze and sneeze and sneeze and sneeze and they're crying and their throat is dry and it's really a problem for them, but that's their norm. Yeah. And so when they don't have that, it's kind of like, wait, what? And like I mentioned with chronic pain with me, you mentioned with this other customer and the pills, if I'm in a really bad pain flare up, I don't want to have to take those pharmaceuticals. I'm not interested in taking all the different things, whether it's, an arthritis med, or it's something for a hardcore inflammation, or it's for muscle spasms. I don't want to have to take that stuff. And so for me, this is why I have 2 NIKKIs. I keep one charged and one ready to go, because if I'm wearing it all the time, which I need to for the situation that I'm in with my body at the moment, then I'm in big trouble. So for me, it's not that it's like you said, it's not a dependency, but it is a tool in my toolbox, much the same as meditation is. And like you mentioned, Janis, eating nourishing food and clean food, or drinking, water and limiting caffeine and alcohol and these sorts of things. It's the same for me. NIKKI is a tool in my toolbox for my daily, not just sanity, but also relief. I need the relief that I can move my head in both directions. I get a fair amount of paramedical, and without the paramedical and my NIKKI, I wouldn't be able to do the things that I do. So I get that it's not a dependency, but it is a tool for my daily living.
Absolutely. Janis, should people be feeling any frequencies when they're running?
Get that question a lot, because we think about frequency and vibration, and the answer is no. Generally, you're not going to feel anything. The information goes, to your cells. Your cells are exchanging information all the time, and you generally don't feel it.
Yeah, we don't feel it, but I will always tell people, because everyone's like, well, how do you know it works?
Yeah.
When I am having a very stressful day, I will turn on the stress and anxiety and I can feel my body calm down. Yes. I can feel the calmness. I can feel the anxiety leaving, and then I'm able to focus and then function on what I need to get done. And so I don't feel the frequencies going in, but I can feel my body's reaction, and then they're working. And it's the same with the allergies. Allergies is one I keep referring it to because I physically see it happen. And it is, allergies is usually something where they're sneezy, they're coughy, it's a runny nose, and you put it on, and then they don't notice it's happening because they're so used to dealing with watery eyes, runny nose. And then you almost have to draw it to their attention, like, oh, hey, how are your allergies? And then they're like, wait, they're gone, just because you're so used to having them. So yeah, I don't feel them, but I can feel when I'm having really bad anxiety, I can feel my system calm down. Right?
The frequencies.
Exactly. Like they've given my immune system the information.
Hmm.
Now, Janis, there have been situations where people say they don't notice a difference. Can you give us some examples?
Absolutely. So we have had individuals that have said, I don't feel like it's doing anything for me. And they have had a return or refund. And I will get a call. This has happened many, many, many times. And they call me and they say, I'm just going to quote one individual in particular. You're going to think I'm crazy. I want to buy it again. And what they were doing is they were going over their notes because they were keeping notes to kind of track, is this doing me good, and when they went over their notes and they were realizing how much of a positive impact it was having over the months. And then when they read over their notes, they're like, I'm not experiencing that anymore. I want it back. So that's something else that we find, when you're not wearing it, you realize, oh, wow, it really is making a difference.
Be
Yeah.
so subtle because not everybody has a wow factor. If you don't have a wow issue, you're not going to have a wow factor.
Exactly.
Right? But
Yeah.
it can be just that subtle of just daily use and, oh, I'm sleeping better, or I'm regulating better, or this is happening for me, or as you say, Miriam, I have less stress, or my allergies aren't as intense, or whatever it is. It
Mhm.
can be just that subtle over an accumulative effect of
Mhm.
years,
Yeah.
and then, or months, days, however, and then you wait a second, hang on, I'm actually, oh, I was actually feeling better and I didn't realize it because the new norm had
Mhm.
gradually increased that baseline,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's an important statement. Like the new norm, it's a gradual increase. So you don't really realize it because it can be very subtle changes. And everybody that I talk to, I say, I want to talk to you in a year from now and see how these cumulative subtle changes, the positive changes have impacted your life. Because when you look back, those cumulative changes, you look back and it's a really amazing year. It's a profound year because those changes add up.
When we have done past event, one of the questions I asked one of the guests, Dr. Keith Pine, because a lot of people may not notice a difference. So I asked him, while using our technology, has somebody noticed a difference that you did not? And he thought about it. And then he's like, actually, yeah, my brother asked me a question. And Dr. Pine was a situation where he couldn't turn his head, much like Nicole. And he was like, without thinking, I turned my head and answered my brother. And my brother had this look of, whoa. And, Dr. Pine was saying, I didn't know what was happening. And then his brother said, you just turned your head. And so we get that a lot. There was somebody who I know I talked to, she bought the Lyme device and she was like, this isn't working for me. I'm going to return it. And I was like, okay, like no problem. And then about 6 weeks later, she emailed me and she was like, my husband says I need to buy it again, because her mood started to even out, but she didn't notice it. Her husband noticed a difference. So I find if you're trying the technology and you feel you're not noticing a difference, ask people around you, because they might be noticing those subtle changes that we're used to just being part of our everyday. I know Janis and I, we work together. We're 40 hours a week together. We're the two people that are always in the office. And Janis said to me a couple weeks ago, she didn't want to be rude, but she was like, have you been wearing the emotion? And I was like, no. And then she's trying to be like, oh, maybe you should. And so she noticed that obviously I was struggling. And, whereas I felt I was fine. I didn't need it, but I did need it. And so I think it's always important to ask those around you, because you may not be seeing the changes, but they might be. And sometimes it's simple things as I had a good sleep, or with me, when I first used our technology, within 3 days, I was sleeping soundly, and that was crazy. And then my sister noticed changes before I did. She noticed that I wasn't going to work and going home and going to bed. I was going to work, going home, watching a TV show. Then it grew from like watching one TV show to watching a movie. Then it grew to going to a movie. Then it grew to not staying in bed on the weekends. And it was subtle changes that I didn't notice, but those around me have noticed. It's when we talk to people, it's those subtle changes that we may not notice because we're used to living with Lyme. You're living with you're living with chronic pain, you're living with brain fog, you're living with a lot. And I think, Janis, I heard you talk to a customer once that was really interesting. And you said to them, you know, because you do encourage people to keep a journal to kind of talk about their journey that they're going through. And you said to somebody once where it's like, well, are you better than you were last week? And they kind of said, no. Well, what about 3 weeks ago? And they were still kind of no. And then you said to them, well, what about 6 months ago? And then they thought about it and they were like, oh, I'm driving again. And just little subtle changes that they were so used to being part of their everyday that they didn't realize was happening. Oh, I was able to write my wife a note. And, you know, because we pick up a pen without thinking it. Some people with Lyme, they pick up the pen and they may not be able to write a note. And then all of a sudden, this gentleman picked up a pen, wrote a note without thinking about it. And so it's really like we need to look at those around us and how they are affected if they see any changes. And it is always interesting when people do return and then need the device back because they don't realize how much it actually has helped them.
And you know something, I love hearing those stories from our clients because it's over and over and over again that others will notice, you know, family members that love them and know them, we have blind spots. And it's interesting that we get back to our normal and it hasn't triggered in our brain that it's changed. It's really, I find it fascinating actually. So yeah, it's a really good idea, as you said, to ask those around us about changes. And it's really good things like husbands getting their spark back. I just want to share this one story. So this one woman bought her Lyme and she also had the wellness on it and she gave it to her husband because he's in pain and he's like very skeptical. I mean, you know, he's like, are you kidding me? Okay, I'll wear it. And then he just bent down and picked something off the floor and she's like, what? She's like, what do you? And it is, oh my gosh, like, what is this magic here? I can bend down. And he said, I can put my socks on all by myself now. Like,
Yeah.
just something that seems so simple. I just wanted to share that because there's those.
It's so funny. That's usually what happens with the NIKKI technology is somebody will purchase it and the spouse is usually very skeptical.
Mhm.
And they don't want anything to do with it. Next thing you know, they're like, well, now I can't get it back. And so because they have that
Yeah.
happened with my mom and my dad, my stepdad, they were like, my mom had one and then my stepdad had some pain. She's like, well, you can try my NIKKI. Well, he didn't want to give it back. And so then my mom was like, well, I need my NIKKI back. And so they ended up having to buy another one because, you know, they didn't want anything to do with it. Now they love the technology and it helps them. And again, that's something you don't, you know, you haven't been able to do it. Then you see something, you pick it up and you don't realize, oh, I do have that ability now. And yeah, it's pretty profound when it starts to happen to people, I find. And because, you know, you always have this like bioenergetic technology, I don't know. And then something happens and it's like, wow.
Mhm.
I love the letters. I love the letters that we get from the spouses, from the children, you know, from people's partners, from people's parents.
Mhm.
I love the letters that we get saying, oh my gosh, they were able to do this, or we went on this trip, or, well, I have my husband back, or I have my wife back, or, you know, we did this together. I love so much hearing from people their appreciation. Like that's the thing that keeps me going, whether it's the person themselves that's saying thank you so much, or and sharing like beautiful stories of them moving forward in their lives, or their spouses, partners, children, etc., that send us these letters saying, thank you, I have my person back, you know, and because they've missed them, you know,
so touching.
chronic pain, chronic stress, chronic illness, they change people. And whether you like to be changed or not, it's happening. And so when you get to change more back into more of who you know yourself to be, it's a blessing to you and those around you. And when we get to hear that and witness it, it is what keeps me going. I get so juiced by these beautiful stories of people sharing their lives with us and what has changed for them.
Yeah, I mean, me too. Nikki, that's the thing is Lyme does not just affect the individual that is got Lyme disease or the co-infections. It affects their mates, their families, their friends, their grandchildren, their work people. It has far-reaching ripple effects. It's dropping that stone in the water and watching those circles spread throughout. And when changes happen, all those individuals reap the benefits as well because they have their person back, like you said. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the same with I would say also, chronic stress, chronic
Mhm.
illness, chronic pain, any of these kinds of conditions that people deal with on the daily, include chronic allergies. People are limited to their environments. They
Yep.
can't go many places if they can't function to do so, and they're highly medicated or whatever. And so it becomes really difficult for people to function in the ways that they're accustomed to moving through their days in their worlds.
Okay, so Janis or Nicole. So our next question is we're going to delve a little bit more into some technical aspects of NIKKI and what it can and cannot do. So if somebody purchases, we do currently offer 2 frequency sets. Always check our website for the most up-to-date information regarding frequency sets that we have to offer because our library will be expanding. If they purchase the Lyme suite, which is one of our flagship products, do people with Lyme, could they also benefit from the wellness suite?
Absolutely.
I was going to say absolutely, and vice versa, actually.
Mhm.
I know that while I don't have Lyme, there are many things in the Lyme suite that I use on the regular, histamines and gut health in particular, as long with emotion. And I do really well with Lyme sleep, but and vice versa. So people with Lyme can do really well with the wellness suite. There's a lot to offer in each of them, and we go into a little bit in more depth about the different sets that are in those suites. While allergies and histamine are similar, they're different. While emotion and stress and anxiety are similar, they're actually different, and they target and are designed to do different things. So I believe that we can benefit from all of the frequency sets in the different suites.
Mm-hmm. Kind of what you mentioned, NIKKI, is, for example, we have allergies in the wellness suite, we have histamines in the Lyme suite, and in episode 50 that we did, we do cover the difference between the histamines and the allergies, as well as sleep versus Lyme sleep. My question too is some of them do overlap, such as the allergies and the histamine. Would it be good to purchase both suites, and why is there a benefit of having allergies and histamine or sleep and Lyme sleep on one NIKKI?
For me, I'm not a person who is affected by seasonal allergies, for instance. The allergy set on the wellness suite is really designed toward dealing with the allergy season and or seasonal allergies that are happening, and people have different seasons of allergies depending on what's happening for them, but it's not the same as histamine. While there may be a histamine response in having a seasonal allergy, it's not the same as having an inflammatory histamine response that's happening, which the histamine is more designed for. So there's a bit of a difference there. And while I don't wear allergies, it doesn't do anything for me, but I do have autoimmune. And so I wear a histamine in terms of having histamine response within my body. So that's just, for me, a little bit of a distinction and a difference. And I would say in terms of emotion and stress and anxiety, while stress and anxiety is really targeted toward helping to regulate and do those things to calm the nervous system in a different way. Emotion, while it has a lot of aspects of that same frequencies in there, it also has a component in terms of regulating some of the mental and emotional responses. So it's not just targeting that kind of response in the system. So I would say some of the frequencies in the Lyme suite are designed in mind with a more, I'm going to use the word robust experience, like a fuller experience, because we're trying to support people with chronic Lyme and co-infections, which affect a variety of systems within their body, whether it's on the microbiome level, whether it's neurological, whether it's physiological. Like there's so many different things where Lyme can settle into the body with co-infections and leave people susceptible. So we designed that suite in particular to be a more fuller experience to support a variety of things going on within those systems. Whereas the wellness suite, it's fantastic. If you had nothing else, it's phenomenal, but it's not going to target Lyme. It's not going to help with the co-infections, but it will help with daily stressors. It will help with, sleep and circadian rhythms when you use the sleep package. It will help with pain, but it's not going to talk to mold. It's not going to talk to any of those things that you would have in the co-infection. So they have different purposes in terms of the way they were designed and what they were designed to do, but that doesn't mean that they can't be super helpful on both counts.
Further to that, Nikki, one of my favorite tips to actually give people is just because your wellness suite says stress and anxiety can be worn for more than just stress and anxiety. Pain can be more than just pain. And the reason why I bring that up is you were talking about the sleep program. And I, for one, if I wear the sleep one, it makes me very awake. So I actually sleep with stress and anxiety, or I sleep with the pain because I need that nervous system to calm down. And so my sister, she has a NIKKI, and she was like, I was sleeping, and she was like, I would wake up, and I was like, go to sleep with stress and anxiety on. Slept the best. And then my mom sleeps with the pain frequency on. And so just because it says sleep doesn't mean there's not other options out there. You're going to know your body the best. And that's what's great about NIKKI is you have that control. It's on your wrist. You can pick what you want to play, when you want to play it. And eventually you're going to know what works really, really well for you. And you know what? You might find yourself going to bed with allergies so you don't wake up snuffy or, snuffy and sneezy. I sleep with the stress and anxiety. I do also sleep with allergies because I do have allergies 24/7. But that's what's fun is you can pick what you want to wear, when you want to wear it, how long you want to wear it. And it's just the control. You have that control of what you want to do.
Absolutely. Your NIKKI, your way. And I would agree with
Absolutely.
you, Miriam, because the things that are keeping people awake are the things that might need to be targeted.
Yeah.
So like you said, allergies, pain, stress and anxiety. If those are the things that are keeping you from sleeping, then by all means, put on pain, put on stress, etc.
So with that, what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick little break.
For someone thinking of purchasing a device, what advice would you give them?
Do it. Just do it. It's I really have explored so many ways between essential oils. I mean, much of what the speakers said tonight, there's been my journey through the years. This is by far the quickest, the most painless. It's just really, for me, it was a synchronistic meeting, and I ended up being blessed with the device. So I feel that, universe is saying, we want you around for a while.
NIKKI puts a personal wellness center in your hands and on your wrist. Be better, do better. We are NIKKI.com.
Welcome back to this episode of Bioenergetics Beat. I'm Miriam. We have Nicole Sullivan as well as Janis Klipper. So Janis, if a customer currently owns a NIKKI device and they would like to add, and they have the wellness suite, can they add other frequencies at a later time, or do they have to purchase them all at the same time?
Absolutely. You can add, if you have the wellness, you can add the Lyme or vice versa at a later time. All you need to do is reach out to us at hello@wearenikki.com and let us know. We will ask for you to confirm your address, and then we'll create an invoice for you to pay. And then you'll get an email with a brand new activation code for either the wellness or the Lyme suite. But we just need to create that invoice manually for you because you can't do that on the website.
And both programs will fit on the NIKKI for the customer to wear?
Yes, the Lyme suite has 10 frequencies and the wellness suite has 10, and the total capacity for NIKKI is 20. So they both fit.
Awesome. If I purchase a NIKKI and my family really enjoys it, can I just purchase more NIKKIs and share the frequency codes that I already purchased?
That's a good question. We've had that before. And what you need to do, every NIKKI needs to have their suite purchased. So if you've got 2 NIKKIs, you have to purchase 2 wellness suites. You may have the same frequency activation code, but you have to buy, each NIKKI has its own wellness suite purchase or Lyme suite purchase.
Yeah, basically your NIKKI, if you purchase 2 NIKKIs and 2 wellness, you'll get an activation code that's good for both those devices. And so you can share a single NIKKI. Frequency activation codes are per purchase per device. How long do you wear NIKKI? Is it for life?
Well, I wear mine for life. I've been wearing mine for 6 years. And, you know, just as we talked earlier, you eat good nutrition, good water. You have pain at different times. You may have allergies at different times. You want to have your wellness enhanced each and every day. So as Nicole had mentioned, my NIKKI is part of it's in my wellness toolbox, and I have incorporated that into my daily life. And I wouldn't want to be without it.
It's very important, isn't it?
Janis, I want to circle back with you because I know that we have mentioned this in our previous episode, and we have mentioned this in our FAQs online. But I would say, you mentioned, hey, we get bombarded all the time being connected 24/7, whether it's through our phones or through networks or through internet, through things that are around us, you know, microwaves, ultrasounds, towers, etc. So what does that mean for NIKKI?
We understand that when we develop NIKKI, and we have a feature on here, we've developed the NIKKI device with an option, very important option, to turn off wireless connectivity. And you go to settings and you tap down on the wireless connectivity button and you can turn it off. And I always tell people to check on their NIKKI to make sure that that is turned off, because also when you're charging your device, the wireless connectivity will be turned on. So I always say to them, take a look and make sure that you turn that off and then select the frequency that you want to wear throughout the day.
I think it's a really important thing to be able to turn connectivity off. It is only ever needed with NIKKI in terms of connecting to download the frequencies and install them on the device. That's the only way we use it as interface. Other than that, it's not necessary for our purposes and for the intention of what we're trying to do with NIKKI. Keep your NIKKI connected to you, but you don't need to have it connected to wireless connectivity. I know that one of the questions that we get asked on the regular is whether or not we can add information about people's current protocols that they're on. It's not something, as a tech company, not only are we not licensed practitioners, we're not doctors in any medical capacity whatsoever. So if you have a protocol that you're doing, or a program, or any kind of nutraceutical, or anything that you're doing with your medical practitioner, that's your go-to person for your information. We consider NIKKI a tool in the toolbox, and we wouldn't advise for or against anything that you're already doing, or if it's contraindicated for what your protocol that you're currently working with your practitioner on. It's really, really important to remember we're a tech company. And while we believe wholeheartedly in your wellness and want your well-being, we cannot comment on it. So that's a question that we get on the regular, and any medical questions need to be directed to your medical professionals.
So Janis, we have talked a little about Lyme. Episode 50 before this, we do go into a lot of in-depth details about their new Lyme frequency suite that we launched May of 2024. When people start our Lyme daily program, can they also do their homeopathic herbs or other Lyme treatments?
Absolutely. We get that question a lot. And the good news is with our frequencies, the frequencies are information. So they're not going to have a contraindication with any other herbs or any other pharmaceuticals that you may be taking. So you can do this in combination, and it's just fine.
Perfect. That brings us to the end of this episode of Bioenergetics Beat. We appreciate you tuning in and hope you found it helpful. If you want to submit your own questions for us to answer, please go to our website at www.wearenikki.com and go to the Contact Us section. You will find a form where you can submit your question. If you have an idea for a frequency suite that you would like featured, we want to hear from you, and your question might be answered on our next episode. As always, thank you so much for joining us. And if you're feeling lucky, don't forget to enter your own NIKKI with the Wellness Frequency Suite. Until next time, thank you.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Janis.
Thank you both.
Good
Thanks,
job.
Mrs.
Hey guys, I wanted to tell you a little bit about my favorite and probably my most impactful frequency that I use on the NIKKI. If you've never seen this before, it looks like a little watch, but it's actually a frequency device with a bunch of different frequencies. It's bioenergetic, so it has this little frequency light situation that goes into your arm, and it pretty much makes an immediate difference. But my personal favorite frequency is the insomnia one. If you know me, you know I don't sleep at night. I'm known for like those middle of the night texts and random thoughts, and I have been that way my whole life, not just since I got sick with tick-borne illness. But the NIKKI nighttime and or insomnia frequency is basically programmed to work with your body's natural resources to get you to go to sleep and get you set for nighttime. It helps with cellular repair and detoxification overnight, which is super, super important for everyone, but especially with people with Lyme and tick-borne illness like me. So I just wanted to kind of demystify it and share a little bit about it. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Bye.
NIKKI puts a personal wellness center in your hands and on your wrist. Be better, do better. We are NIKKI.com. There's a new word for wellness, NIKKI. NIKKI, the bioenergetic wearable designed to help you feel better and perform better. Other wearables just track how you're doing. NIKKI is about helping you do better. Touch the NIKKI screen to choose the frequency you want for what you want to do and how you want to feel. NIKKI puts a personal wellness center in your hands and on your wrist. Be better, do better. We are NIKKI.com.
The views, information, and opinions expressed in this content are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of Freemedica. Freemedica Technologies, Inc. and its employees are not responsible, nor verifies accuracy any of the information contained in the following content. The primary purpose of this content is to educate and inform. This content does not constitute medical or other professional advice or services.